And the size of your faith depicts the size of your God. We each get a measure. So you can't hate on someone else's measure. If you only have faith to believe that God can't do something, and someone else has faith to believe that God will do something, you can't hate when God comes through and a person says, well, I know that God will do this. Just because your faith is not in the same spot, he gives each of us a measure. But the size of your faith depicts the size of your God. What you believe about your God is what you believe about your God. And you cannot be upset if people have higher and greater measures of faith. You have to exercise a measure that you do have. We all want to talk about that. Just, with a mustard seed faith. And, we can tell this mountain to be cast to the sea. All these things we want to say. But it's important to understand that the size of your prayers depict the size of your faith. And the size of your faith depicts the size of your God. He was embarking on something great. He knew that nothing great can happen without prayer. So he had to seek God. He hears the news. The king notices that he has never been sad in his presence before. The king says that, so the king asked me, why does your face look so sad when you are not ill? This could be nothing but sadness of the heart. Nehemiah 2:4 says, and the king said to me, what is it you want? I said, are you ready for your yes? See, we do what is possible, and God does what is impossible. But when you have the attention, what will you do with it? I said, show me what your prepared looks like. Right? Show me what your prepared looks like. I ran into somebody at the bowling alley yesterday. Me and Phil was in bowling. I ran into someone at the bowling alley yesterday. They come to me and say, Pastor Ray, I haven't forgotten what you told me. I'm going to have everything you look for, what you asked for, and I'll have it to you this week. And I said, awesome. That's what prepared looks like. Making sure that we're working. Constantly moving forward. I get back and I have an email from someone else or something else that I asked them to do. It's going to take a lot of time to say, you know what, Pastor Ray, everything you're looking for, I'll have everything for you by August 15th. Good. That's what prepared looks like. Prepared is not waiting until you get the yes and then try to figure out what is my strategy going to be. Nehemiah was already prepared for this moment right here because he had been praying about it for over 4 months. Saying, all right, once I get this yes, I know all the following things that I'm going to need, because he was prepared for his yes. It says, then I prayed to God of heaven, and I answered the king. See, when it comes to prayer, nothing is too big for God's power. Amen. Number 2 we have to realize is we have to define the vision clearly. This is why we've approached this series in the manner in which we have. From all the things that Dr. Lee talked about even the beginning of the year, to Pastor Raymond setting up this series that I'm doing, and we've done it in the manner in which we've done it. We spent the time on Sunday morning talking about the things that we're doing in the community, the plans that we have, the reason why after service, the reason why we're making ourselves available for those who were not here to talk about the things we're doing, because we have to make sure that everyone is clear about what we're doing, right? You have to define the vision clearly. We're talking about our kingdom assignment. And we need to figure out, I know many of you need to figure out what's going on, what you need to do, and where you fit. And this is why we've been having these messages in this manner. So if you need an update, this is not the time to sit back and say, well, I'll figure it out. Okay, I haven't been here for a few weeks. I don't know why they got this whole cardboard thing on the stage, but I guess, whatever, it's the opportunity for you to find out what is going on. Because we're committed to this kingdom assignment, and we know that we have to define the vision clearly, right? For most people, it's not a lack of caring. It's not a lack of caring. These cards alone show that you guys care. But many times it's a lack of clarity. And that's a problem, is making sure that we understand what's next. The king asked Nehemiah, what can I do? Verse 4 says, if it pleases the king, and if your servant has found favor in his sight, let him send me to the city in Judah where my ancestors are buried, so that I can rebuild it. He was saying, please send me to Judah so that I can rebuild the city. So that I can rebuild it. He didn't say, well, there's something that I've been thinking about, and I know that you're the king, and if you could just make it happen, and if it's cool with you, he's saying, no, he's already prayed about what his role would need to be in the entire process. He said, send me and I'll go, use me. I volunteer. I'll lead by example. I'll start and everyone else will have to catch up. Because God, you burdened and broken my heart for this. And like I asked earlier, God, why are you presenting this to me? And sometimes the things that you're presenting, you need to ask God, why are you presenting this to me, God? Is it for me to be reflective and think about, anything? Or is it for me to be aggressive and move forward with what you have called me to do? One of those two options. Amen. Why are you presenting this to me? God, are you telling me you need me to do something? God, are you telling me you need me to act? God, is this something that you have for me? It's important. See, God will provide the inspiration. But guess what? You have to provide the initiative. I can come up here and inspire you every single Sunday. I can preach till I sweat out my shirt, which I do every single Sunday. We can have a great time. Wasn't church great? Oh, yeah, it was great. Oh, Pastor Ray preached a great message. Dr. Lee preached a great message. Pastor Ray preached a great message. And you say, oh, it's great, it's great. But what have you done? What's the initiative? What is your action? What is next? The next step. He can provide the inspiration, but you have to provide the initiative. Say, God, this is what I'm passionate about. I say, okay, I can use that. But God, this is all, this is what I care about. Right? God, well, how does this align? And asking those questions and making sure you find out, that faith without works is dead. There's a part that we all have to play in this process. Yeah. So it's not that we lack caring, because I know everyone here cares. You guys have a big heart. I can tell by the cards that you guys wrote. The problem, though, sometimes it's a lack of clarity. Sometimes we're too vague on what we want. Pastor Ray, I just want to help people. Which people? Which ones? I want to help all people. With what? With their needs. Okay, what needs? Those who can't read, those who don't have home, those who've been abused. Where do you want to do it? Here in your own backyard. I want to do it international. I want to start here. Those you can't be so vague. God say, okay, God, just use me, God. I want it. What is it? What is it that's breaking your heart? That's the reason why I had you write on these cards, so that way we can get very specific about how that aligns to the vision of this house. What does help mean? Medical attention, education, empowerment needs. Spiritual enrichment. There's so many. What does that mean? So you come to the leader, well, I told you I wanted to help. Help with what? Only you can answer that question. I say this in all love. I'm not saying this again. If the shoe fits, wear it. But I'm saying is that you can't just sit and raise your hand. I want to help. Well, help with what? What is it that you want to do? How do you want to help? Where do you want to be involved? What does your heart bleed for? If your heart bleeds for it, then you say, that's where I need to be, because that is associated with your passion, which is also connected to your purpose. That's where you want to be. You want to see fulfillment in life? You get connected with your purpose. So that's what we need to be thinking about. So the reason why we've been having these cards is so that all of our resources, that we can pray strategically, and we can dispatch our resources appropriately for this kingdom assignment. Okay, brace yourself. Tell your neighbor, brace yourself. If you can't define it, you can't do it. If you can't define it, you can't do it. That's what I talk about being too vague. You have to get very specific about what it is that you're trying to do. I learned this in my natural job. And I don't talk much about what I do in my normal profession, but I do have the opportunity to consult and to influence those in higher level positions within my corporation. And one thing I realize that they're always looking for is you have to define what is it that you're trying to do. You can't have this big old grand pretty picture that makes sense in your head and you can't explain it articulately about what is it you're trying to accomplish. What is God leading you to do? God is leading you to support your church in the kingdom work of this financially. God is looking for you to provide the resources, the time, and the support of this vision. God is calling you to be an ambassador, telling the world about what we are doing for His work. God wants you to keep your eyes open so that way we are aware that as needs present themselves, to make sure that we're informed and we ensure that we're all saying the same thing. God is calling us to pray specifically for the needs of this house. You fill in the blank. Get very specific. I said before I'm 40, which I'll be 38 in a couple of weeks, Lord, I want you to at least do the following through me. And I say at least because I don't want my natural mind to limit what God wants to do. So I say this. I say, God, I want to impact 5,000 local families per year with the services that we offer through Hope Active before I'm 40. Lord, I want to help over 100 families per month with the resources from our diaper or essential items pantry. See, I already have the access to the people. Now I just need the access to the resources. Lord, I want this building paid off completely by the time that I'm 40. Lord, I want to break ground on a 148,786 square foot building that we'll call Hope Center. Get specific. I want to personally be in position to offer over $50,000 in scholarship to kids who who come from economically disadvantaged homes. Personally, be able to do that. Amen. I want to make sure that we launch our ESL and our GED program, and we see that we have at least 10 people who've already graduated through our program. I want over 50 mentors signed up for our work, and they're active in the schools with us. I said, and I want RHIFC to be a safe place for the elderly, for the youth, for the families, and anybody in need of wholeness, restoration, cultivating of valuable relationships, and who needs to be raised to levels of greatness. You can't do it if your vision is not clear. It's too broad. I just want to help everybody. I have a passion for young men or young women or grown men or those who are divorced. Or just think about some of the things that I saw in these, those who are in poverty, those who have been abused. Get very specific. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to accomplish? You can't do it if your vision isn't clear. Vision clear, provision appear. Vision clear, provision appear. You get very specific about, God, what is it that I want you to do? God saying, I need you to line up. And the next thing you know, the provisions that you need, they show up. I was thinking about the need that we have with, for the sponsoring of these kids and these backpacks. And I remember having a conversation with my dad not that long ago. He said, we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. I said, well, you understand, he's like, well, how much is it going to be? And I said, well, I think he thought it was going to be a real small number. And I said, well, it takes about $26,000 for me to be able to put on this backpack event. He was like, well, okay. But what I'm saying is that I got a text the other day saying, hey, Pastor Ray, there's a check on your desk. I walked in today and there was another check on my desk. I came in today and I sat down and someone slid me an envelope saying, hey, this is for you. And I said, okay, God, it's not for me to think about how to do it. And I'm just showing one really quick. We're very clear about what we're trying to accomplish. As part of this division of this house, we want to restore hope and wholeness. We want to raise believers to levels of greatness. We want to cultivate valuable relationships. The vision is very clear. This is what we want to do. We want to make sure that we provide school supplies and essential items for over 750 kids. God, this is the assignment that you put on this house. Okay, God. I said, yes. I'll go out there and I'll do the work while what is possible. I'll shake the hands. I'll talk to people. I'll meet with every principal, every school in the area, and I've done that. God, I've done what I can do. God, I've called, I asked, I've done all the things that's possible, and God said, now watch why you trust me. And that's what I talk about when you have a faith about God. God will do something versus we know absolutely for sure that it's going to happen. Knowing He can do something versus He will do something. Vision clear, provision appear. That's the reason why we're taking time. You have to understand what it is that we have going on here in this house. If you don't know what's going on, please, I'm begging you, come up and say, Pastor Ray, I haven't been there for a couple weeks. No one's going to judge you on where you've been. I'm going to say, hey, this is where we are because we all want to be on the same page. Saying the same thing, believing the same thing, praying for the same thing, so that way we all can shout when God comes through because we know that it's His kingdom assignment that we're trying to accomplish. Vision clear, provision appear. So we know that we have to seek God faithfully. We have to define the vision clearly. And then we have to make our plans carefully. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Just a wish. Some people say, this is what I want to do. And then, again, like we talked earlier, it's just too vague. How are you going to do it? Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 6 says, then the king with the queen sitting beside him asked me, how long will your journey take? And when will you get back? It pleased the king to send me, so I set a time. Verse 7 says, I also said to him, if it pleases the king, may I have letters to the governors of Trans-Euphrates so that they will provide me safe conduct until I arrive in Judah. Verse 8 says, and may I have a letter to Asaph, keeper of the royal park, so he will give me timber to make beams for the gates of the citadel by the temple, and for the city wall, and for the residence I will occupy. And because the gracious hand of God was on me, the king granted my request. What was he requesting? Protection and provision. See, the plan does not need to be perfect. Sometimes people spend so much time trying to perfect the plan that they never accomplish anything. Where are my perfectionists at in here? Where am I perfect? Every detail to the T, right? Everything has to be ironed out. You're saying, well, until all I'm waiting on is just to make sure, get the last few things situated, and then I'll be ready to go. And that's something also that the enemy uses to keep us from actually doing something. I get it. I'm not a perfectionist. I make mistakes. But guess what? I learn and I do it right the next time. See, mistakes are a powerful tool if you let them teach you correctly. They'll make you something better than you were before. I'm not telling you to rush and do things half-heartedly. I'm not telling you to do that at all. But I'm saying leave some room for grace. I know that scripture tells me that his strength is made perfect in my weakness. That means there has to be some type of deficiency. And if you're perfect and you have the perfect plan, then tell me why you need a perfect God. I don't have to have all the answers. That's why scripture talks about him being a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. If I was perfect, then I would have my own lamp and my own lights. He's talking about walking by faith and not by sight. If I was perfect, then I would have my sight, so I wouldn't need faith. So you sit around waiting for things to get perfect. God's saying, I'm just waiting for you to show up. I'm waiting for you to say yes. Have a clear vision and watch the provisions appear in your life. I'm shouting. Philippians 3:13 talks about I'm not arrived, but I do want one thing. Forgetting those things that are behind and pressing forward to a mark of higher calling. Proverbs 24:16 says, though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes. That tells me that there is room for some grace. I don't get it right all the time. Sometimes I'm like, okay, God, is this you talking or is it me talking, God? Is this my fear talking, God, or is this my faith talking? And sometimes I'm just being honest, they sound very similar. But God's saying, you know what? Son, I know that your intentions were pure. I know what it is that you're trying to do. I mean, that's why God's grace is so important, because it shows up saying, I understand, and he can mask things and things that where I make so many mistakes. I'm saying, my God, saying people don't even see it because of the grace that I have in front of you. That's the grace. You're saying, well, God, they can't see my mistakes, God. They can't see my insecurities, God. They can't see all these people looking to me for answers, God. God, you're putting me in front of people where I have to be able to speak articulately about what it is that you're calling me to do, God. I have to inspire people, God. I have to connect this community, God. I have to navigate the waters between the separation between church and state and the schools, God. I have to be inside the prisons, God, and make sure that I'm able to navigate the legal system, God. I